Welcome back to House of Worship. Again, my name is Princess. We're here to pursue a kingdom mindset under a kingdom mantle. If you're hungry to grow spiritually, deepen your understanding of God's words, and walk in your divine purpose, you are certainly in the right place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a word that God has for you. Today, we're diving into the story of Queen Esther, a woman of boldness, obedience, and divine purpose. Esther's life teaches us what it looks like to trust God in the face of fear, opposition, and spiritual warfare. Let's begin in Esther chapter 3. Mordecai, Esther's guardian, refused to bow down to Haman, a high official. Why did Mordecai refuse to bow down to Haman? Because Mordecai was a Jew, and Jews bow down to God alone, not man. Haman's pride couldn't take that. So he didn't just want to destroy Mordecai. He plotted to kill all the Jews. Esther chapter 3 verse 8 to 9. Haman goes to the king with a manipulated plan, using false accusation to justify his evil plot. This is deeper than offense. This is spiritual warfare. In chapter 4, God's purpose for Esther was revealed. Mordecai tells Esther about Haman's plot. At first she hesitated, but she knew the risk. Approaching the king without permission could lead to death. Esther reminds Mordecai, I haven't been called by the king in 30 days. But then comes the famous response from Mordecai, verse 13 to 14. Who knows if perhaps you were made queen for such a time as this? God didn't choose Esther to wear a crown and look pretty. He chose her to preserve a nation. When God calls you, it is not just about you. Key lesson from this story: whenever God chooses or calls you, it's never just about you. It's always for the greater good, for the people attached to your purpose. Esther understood the assignment, and she didn't just pray. Esther fasted for 3 days and 3 nights. Esther didn't rush and acted with emotions. She fasted and called others to fast with her. Fasting combined with prayer prepares the spirit before facing the assignment. It sharpens discernment, it kills pride, and aligns you with the will of God, leading to a spiritual discipline. It is highly essential to a believer's walk to practice fasting with prayers. In Esther chapter 5 verse 3, Esther stands before the king. The king welcomes her and says, What is your request, Queen Esther? I will give you half of this kingdom. Esther didn't fight for attention. She didn't beg to be chosen. Now that's favor. Esther was chosen by God. And when God's favor speaks on your behalf, doors are open. The king had many women to choose from, but he chose Esther. You don't have to convince someone to choose you. Let God advocate on your behalf. In Esther chapter 5 verse 14, Haman's greed led to his destruction. Pride and hatred consumed Haman. He built gallows to hang Mordecai, but guess what? Haman was hung on that very gallows he built. Pride sets its own trap. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 18 says, Pride goes before destruction. When God is for you, who then could be against you? Esther chapter 9 verse 1. On the day met for the destruction, the Jews were instead empowered and protected. God turned the plot of the enemy against the enemy. I love when he show out. When you walk in purpose, and when you trust God's timing, and when you fast and pray, you can't lose, because our God never loses. Esther reminds us, God positioned you before the battles begins. Your purpose is bigger than you. Obedience requires boldness, but boldness births breakthroughs. Fasting isn't just a tradition, it is a weapon. When you're called by God, you don't have to force your way in. Favor walks with you. We're made for such a time as this. If this message speaks to your spirit, drop a comment below and type, I was made for such a time as this. Now don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to be reminded of their purpose and power in Christ. Here at House of Worship, we believe your crown is connected to your calling, and your calling is backed by God's authority. I'm Princess, and until next time, be bold, be obedient, and walk in purpose like Esther. God bless.